Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're not in the gym, we're in probably my second favorite place, and that's the kitchen. So today I'm going to show you my favorite way to prep potatoes in bulk. So potatoes are a great source of complex carbohydrates, and when you include the skin, it's also a great source of fiber. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash these potatoes, I'm going to dice them up, I'm going to season them, some of them, and we'll throw them in a pan and throw them in the oven. So stay tuned, I'll take you through the whole process. So now I'm just going over quickly with a brush and some water. Just gonna brush any dirt off. Throw them to the side and let them dry. Okay, so I've got all my potatoes washed and ready to dice up. But first, I'm gonna take a couple steps that can be going on in the background while I'm dicing that. So I'm gonna come over to the oven. We're gonna go ahead and get that preheated. I'm gonna set it to 400 for my oven. Seems to run a little cold sometimes, so 375 to 400 is what I'd recommend. So that's gonna be preheating. We're gonna go ahead and spray our pans with just a little bit of nonstick. I like to use extra virgin olive oil. The coconut oil is good. Canola oil is fine. Avoid vegetable oil. Just gonna do really quick. So even though these are labeled 0 calorie, you can see that's for a serving size of a 1/4 second spray because it's still olive oil. It still has calories. So just make sure you use a little bit and you'll be all good. Okay. Get yourself a knife. And I just like to cut them just into just slices all the way down. Then I'll go back and I'll dice them up. If you want to leave them as slices and make it like chips, you can do that. If you want to do it like fries, you can do that. Anything works here. There's no hard rules on this. The only rule is don't cut your fingers off. So today I'm using white potatoes, but this is absolutely delicious with sweet potatoes as well. One thing you'll find is that when they're raw, white potatoes are much easier to cut. So after I get them cut up, I'm just gonna dump them in the pan. We'll keep going. I've got 10 pounds to cut up, so I'll check in with you when I'm done with that. All right, there we go. 10 pounds of potatoes, all cut up. If you come in a little closer, this is a little more full than I like the pans to be typically, but we're working with what we got. So it might need to go a little bit longer in the oven. But anyways, some of this I'm going to leave unseasoned because I like to season it when I'm actually using it in the dish. But for some of them, we're going to actually use this gourmet Cajun spice on it that I get from my local grocery store. And if you have ever had Arby's curly fries, try this. It'll come out just like it. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna season two of the 5 pans. So I'm gonna go with this one. And we'll do this guy. So there we go. I'm going to pop these in the oven. In the meantime, while I was cutting those up, the oven preheated to 400. Like I said before, 375 to 400 is what I'd recommend. I'm going to set the timer for an hour and check on it at that time. They may be done, they may not. There's a lot going in the oven, so it's going to take a lot of heat. In the meantime, I'm going to do some client check-ins, and I'll catch up with you in an hour when these are hopefully ready to go. Alright guys, my timer for an hour just went off, so we're going to take a look at these. Going to open up the oven and see how they're coming along. There we go. Take a fork. I'm just going to poke them. Alright. They're still pretty firm. They are pretty firm still, so I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer. We can do another 15 minutes easy with these. Okay, so you guys saw me check it a little bit ago. I ended up going for a total of like an hour and a half actually with these in the oven. And that's going to be dependent upon your oven, so just make sure you set it for maybe an hour to start with, and then be checking it in 10 or 15 minute intervals. So, if you come here, you can see what they look like out of the oven. To know when they are done, basically, if you poke it in the fork, and it comes off easy, that should be good enough. So, some of them are a little crispier, but that's how I like it. Now, the reason I love this, and the reason I love doing this in bulk is because, for one, I love potatoes. Who doesn't? And they're very versatile. You can have it with eggs in a skillet. You can have it on a wrap. You can have potatoes with any meat it goes good with, any fish. You can have them alone. They're just super versatile, great source of carbs. But now what I do to package them is I'm going to weigh them out into a good portion that I usually like to work with. So I'm going to do 100 gram batches, and then I'm going to put them into individual sandwich bags inside a bigger freezer bag. So I go ahead and always label it with, this is baked white potato, 100 gram bags, and I'll put the date on there. So without further ado, I'm going to start weighing out all of these portions. It's always important to have a good food scale. It is essential if you want to be meal prepping or any kind of plan where you actually know how much you are getting. Don't always try to eyeball things. So here we go. Give you guys an idea of about what 100 grams of this looks like. Alright, so here we go. There's 99.5 grams. That's close enough. And to give you an idea for cooked weight of a baked white potato, that's going to be around 90 to 100 calories. So I go ahead, I'll put that in a bag, I'll load up all of these, put them in the freezer, then they stick it for a really long time, and then just pull it out, pop it in the microwave, or heat it up through a different method. I'll be coming out with more videos in the future. I'll show you guys how you can use these in different dishes. But for now, I'm going to bag them up, freeze them, and have them ready for next time. Okay guys, so one last thing. You can see I bagged all those. I'll be putting them in the freezer in a minute. Now an example of where I can use these potatoes. Earlier today I made a skillet with some eggs, some vegetables, a little bit of chicken is in there actually. So here we go. Ate the other half of that skillet this morning. Add some carbs to it. There we go. I'll zap that in the microwave really quick. You've got a perfectly healthy meal. Go source with lean protein with the eggs and the chicken. You got some vegetables in there for micronutrients. And you've got your potatoes in there for some fiber and some good old carbs. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.